Back in the glory days of Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United stood tall as a symbol of unity, a team fighting as one for the badge and the win. But in the past decade, cracks have appeared, and the term black sheep has cast a dark shadow over the club. It's about those who put themselves above the team, disrupting harmony with their demands and lackluster performances. Now, The Athletic has dropped a bombshell, naming Marcus Rashford as the black sheep of the current Red Devils squad. Rumours suggest the once promising star could be on his way out in January after failing to impress manager Ruben Amorim. On Sunday afternoon, as Manchester United prepared to host Newcastle in match week 19 of the Premier League, journalist Andy Mitton of The Athletic dropped a bombshell about Marcus Rashford. The star, who has been heavily linked with a departure from the theatre of dreams, is reportedly on his way out after failing to meet the expectations of manager Ruben Amorim. Mitton revealed that every manager at United in recent years has faced challenges with Rashford. I've spoken with them, and all of them have shared with me the same issues that have persisted for years, he stated. The journalist went on to describe the club's dressing room as a highly complex environment, admitting that, for the first time, he is now disclosing the root cause of the disruptions and naming the most controversial figure, Old Trafford. For many, the revelation of Rashford's name was unsurprising. The Carrington graduate, who burst onto the scene with so much promise under Louis van Gaal, was once hailed as the next great product of United's famed academy. Fans dreamed he could follow in the footsteps of club legends like Paul Scholes or Ryan Giggs, becoming an icon for the Red Devils. However, as the years passed and the praise for Rashford continued to grow, the 1997-born forward seemed to lose his humility. Signs of complacency crept in, and he began to show the traits of a self-centered star. There's no denying the talent of United's number 10. His near decade in the first team has produced moments of brilliance, but he has yet to make the leap to truly elite status or reach the level of a world-class player. His inconsistency on the pitch, compounded by distractions off it, has ultimately hindered his progress. At 27 years old, with his prime years slipping away, it seems increasingly likely that Rashford's time at Old Trafford is coming to an end. The unruliness of Marcus Rashford can be traced back to the era of José Mourinho. It was during the Portuguese manager's time at Old Trafford that he concluded Rashford was not capable of being United's main striker and insisted the club needed to reinforce the attack with more quality. Mourinho's strict, no-nonsense approach created friction, and Rashford, along with teammates like Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba, began to push back against the special one. Mourinho once stated, "I wouldn't say Marcus Rashford could never be a no. 9. He can be a very dangerous no. 9, especially against teams that are not compact, not pressing, and leaving space in behind. Rashford thrives in transition." But when Manchester United often face opponents who park the bus at Old Trafford, he's not the kind of striker who can play with his back to goal. He's not a reliable target man and doesn't score as many goals as a proper centre forward should. Rashi is very professional and always works hard for the team. He understands what the coach asks of him, particularly in terms of defensive duties. As a winger, he can be a fantastic player, potentially even better than as a no. 9. José Mourinho never believed Marcus Rashford could become the type of player to consistently score 30 goals a season. And the 2022-23 campaign, often hailed as a breakout year, now seems more like an anomaly than a true reflection of Rashford's ability. Since then, the forward has reverted to being an inconsistent performer, plagued by dips in form and a lifestyle filled with late-night partying that has, on occasion, left him unfit to take the pitch. At the time, however, the Manchester United hierarchy made a fateful decision to side with the players over the manager. This ultimately forced the Portuguese tactician to pack his bags, paving the way for old Gunnar Solskjær to take the reins. Under Ole's leadership, the team seemed to rediscover its spirit, embarking on an impressive run of results. Ole's mild-mannered, player-friendly approach, a stark contrast to Mourinho's uncompromising style, resonated with the squad. For some, it was a welcome change. But for others, including a few of the so-called black sheep, it may have been just the kind of leniency they were hoping for. Although old Gunnar Solskjær aspired to build a team that embodied the values of Manchester United, fighting with passion for the crest on their chests, his soft-spoken, lenient approach ultimately undermined his vision. Many stars within the squad failed to respect the baby-faced assassin, and like so many of his predecessors, he was unceremoniously shown the door, despite delivering moments of joy and hope for the fans. There's no denying Ole's love for Manchester United or his ability to connect with the club and its supporters. But even someone as mild-mannered as the Norwegian found himself frustrated with Marcus Rashford's commitment, both in training and on the pitch. Marcus Rashford achieved great things as a youngster. But now, in the prime years of his career, he must focus on football. He's done incredible work off the pitch, but it's time for him to prioritize his development as a player. He's still learning. Under Erik ten Hag, Rashford delivered a sensational first season, posting the best goal tally of his career. Yet it all came to a halt after that. His performances in subsequent seasons have been nothing short of disappointing. Despite this, he has retained his spot in the starting XI not because of his form, but because United simply lacked the squad depth to replace him. This was the moment when Rashford's black sheep nature began to fully emerge. Following the signing of his lucrative contract extension, making him the club's highest paid player, Rashford's displays grew increasingly lackluster. His lethargic approach, walking rather than pressing, chasing balls with minimal effort, became all too apparent, frustrating fans and pundits alike. But whenever criticism grew too loud, Rashford would respond with heartfelt social media posts professing his undying love for Manchester United. These emotional messages often swayed the fan base, buying him more time and faith. Meanwhile, Erik ten Hag, like those before him, became the latest victim of the manager's curse at Old Trafford. The Dutchman was eventually forced out, unable to withstand the inconsistencies and internal challenges that plagued his tenure. And Rashford. He remains central to the club's future, pinned as a cornerstone in the Ruben Amorim project, still expected to rise once more from the ashes. Yet, the situation appears to have spiraled out of Marcus Rashford's control, as Ruben Amorim, the Portuguese tactician, has taken decisive action by excluding him from the squad for failing to meet expectations. Born in 1985, Amorim has emphasized that his focus goes beyond footballing ability. He values attitude in training, performance on the pitch, and respect for the fans. Unfortunately, Rashford has failed to check any of those boxes. Under the Glazers' ownership, Rashford may have continued his streak of entitlement, demanding the club bend to his will. But with Ineos now in the picture, the approach has shifted dramatically. Backing Amorim fully, Ineos is determined to help the manager rebuild the culture at Manchester United by removing players who are neither fully committed to the badge nor deserving of their lucrative contracts. Amorim's philosophy is unwavering. He is willing to make an example out of Rashford, a player who was once a fan favorite, to set a precedent for the rest of the squad. His message is clear: every player must earn their place through effort and professionalism, and no one is untouchable. While Rashford's occasional flashes of brilliance in past seasons have often made fans forget his shortcomings, his recent decline has reignited criticism of his character. Time and again, the 1997-born forward has disappointed those who believed in him. Whether it was José Mourinho dealing with his lackluster performances and poor attitude, or Gunnar Solskjær watching him spiral into a lifestyle of endless partying, or Erik ten Hag struggling with his unwillingness to adapt to a high-intensity training regime, Rashford has played a part in the downfall of 3 managers at Old Trafford. Some may argue that Rashford played through pain, enduring a shoulder injury for the team. But such sacrifices are far from unique in football. Many of the world's greatest players have endured physical pain to lead their teams to glory, and it's their warrior-like mentality that sets them apart. True stars shine not only through their technical brilliance but also through their professionalism and unwavering dedication. Rashford, however, has become a symbol of false hope for United fans, raising expectations only to let them crash with controversies off the pitch and subpar performances on it. His story serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the consequences of unfulfilled potential and the need for a reset at a club that demands excellence on all fronts. In recent years, Manchester United has seen its fair share of black sheep within the squad, Paul Pogba and Jadon Sancho being the most recent examples. Yet, it seems many have overlooked or deliberately ignored the case of Marcus Rashford, blinded by the narrative of his undying love for the club he's been part of for over 2 decades. However, the revelation by journalist Andy Mighton of The Athletic has shed light on a harsh reality. Rashford's name is deeply tied to the disharmony within the Old Trafford dressing room. This prompts the question, why did the club turn a blind eye for so long? Why did it take the no-nonsense measures of Ruben Amorim to finally address the issue? Perhaps Rashford, a product of the Carrington Academy and undeniably a player of considerable skill, was spared harsh scrutiny for too long. But a footballer who lacks professionalism, discipline, and respect for the values of the team has no place in a club that prides itself on collective success. Players with such attitudes are nothing more than a virus infecting the morale of the squad and undermining the team's unity. With the recent developments, it seems inevitable that Rashford's time at the Theatre of Dreams is running out. The countdown to his departure has likely begun. If the 27-year-old forward wants to salvage what remains of the respect he once commanded from fans, he must start preparing for a new chapter elsewhere. Whether Rashford remains part of this new chapter or finds himself elsewhere will depend entirely on his willingness to change. One thing is certain: Manchester United is bigger than any individual, and the club's priority will always be the collective over the personal. Thank you for reading this analysis. What are your thoughts on Rashford's situation and the direction Manchester United is taking? Leave your comments below and let's discuss.